Live from Studio 10 in downtown Wenatchee, we have safely arrived for another edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is Wednesday, the 28th day of November, 2018. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. We don't normally guarantee a five-star show on a Wednesday. We barely guarantee we're on the air at all, but we're going to have a five-star show for you today. And I can guarantee you that because my guests are here, and they're raring to go. It was another banner year for the fall competition season for the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band, and they have a big fundraiser this Saturday at the Wenatchee High School Commons. Joining me in the second half of the show will be Lance Coleman and Janice Sundstrom for the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Band Booster Club. Lance is a veteran of the show. He's been on 2-3 times anyway. Janice is making her debut on this program, and so whenever we have a newbie on the show for the very first time, when they go off to the green room, the waiting room, we make sure that we lock the door so they can't run off. Everything else applies on this Wednesday. We got sports. We got a lot of news to get to, some of it quite sobering, as you might imagine. We also have Today in History, birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion on a cloudy and foggy day today. Let's take you around north central Washington with our Valley View cameras. We start out with the only cameras we can use. As we've talked about this before, these are provided by Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet, and these dishes, these transmitters, if you will, are by definition have to be high up in the air. That's how it works. They have to be up on hills and on tops of buildings and what have you, so that's how the system works. So when we have low clouds and fog, the number of cameras we can use are quite limited, which is why we're not showing you the cross camera. To start this morning, we are starting with our camera high atop the Cascadian in the heart of beautiful downtown Wenatchee. Looking to the south, you can see Stan's Mary Mart. You can see the big crane tower, which dominates your view. Looks like the traffic over the Senator George Seller Bridge is looking good. We had very, very thick fog about 3:30 to about 4:30 this morning all over the Wenatchee Valley. It's starting to burn off a little bit. Still going to get a little bit of light rain, but lots of clouds today. The sun will be taking the day off. Camera 2, according to Cat, is going to be a beautiful view. That is got to be is that our Blag Hill camera? That's our Blag Hill camera, one of the newer ones that's been up and running since late in the summertime. That's Blag Hill is high above Peshastin, so if those clouds weren't there, you'd be able to make out the hamlet of Leavenworth, but the clouds are there, so you can't see it. You can actually see the entrance to the Timwater Canyon. That's on your left there as you start to, going along Highway 2 and following the Wenatchee River up towards Coles Corner and Winton, including beautiful downtown Winton. We're the number 3 rated show, by the way, in the greater Winton area. Camera 3 is going to be a view of, is that Billy Goat turned a little bit to the right? That's Billy Goat. Yeah, turn it to the right just a little bit. That's an incredible view. So if there were no clouds at all there, you'd be able to see the Columbia River, and you'd be able to see kind of like the Waterville Plateau and stuff like that. We've mentioned this before. This camera is over 7,000 feet in elevation. There are we got about 40 cameras we can choose from. That's the highest camera that we have. And on a clear day, and if it's pointed directly to the north, you can see Canada. That's an incredible view there. Look at that sunrise coming up. Good work, Cat. Camera 4 might be a little breaking news item we have this morning. There you go. You can see that. That's at the Cashmere Cut. That's on US 2. There was a one-car rollover non-injury accident that was toned out just about a half an hour ago, and it is affecting traffic heading westbound from Monitor through Cashmere and on your way to the Dryden area. That is what they call the Cashmere Cut, of course. It's westbound. It's one car. So all the traffic there, as you can see, is being channeled over to the inside lane. We understand it's a non-injury rollover accident, but if you're traveling westbound on US 2 between Cashmere and Dryden, you're going to be shoved over. That's just before you get to the intersection of the Goodwin Bridge. So that's a breaking news story that we have for you there. It looks like everybody's going to be okay, though, but that's going to be a bit of a traffic snafu for the next few minutes anyways to get that cleaned up. 4 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service. Here's your forecast. Another day of, unsettled weather. A week, that system that came through a couple of days ago is kind of exiting the area. Quite a bit of cloud cover all day today. We're going to have some patchy fog. It will burn off respectively. We're not going to see any sunshine. It's going to be cloudy with some light rain, mainly in the afternoon hours. High today of about 45 degrees. That's warmer than normal. Yesterday's high was 43. That's what we got on Tuesday. Our normal high for this time of the year is only 38. So we are in a bit of a mild weather pattern. As you can see, that's going to change over the weekend. You know, December is Saturday. I mean, this year is flying by. So patchy fog burns off a little bit. The clouds are going to be hanging around all day today. A little bit of light rain this afternoon. Again, a high of 45. Rain showers tonight, off and on, intermittent. No significant rain. Don't go out, build an ark. You don't need to do that. Lots of clouds, 33 for the overnight low tonight. Thursday, we see a little bit of sunshine. I can live with that. High of about 42. So Thursday is going to look a lot like yesterday. Clouds come back Thursday night, overnight low below freezing, about 30. And then we start cooling down. Starting on Friday, partly sunny and 41. Saturday, mostly cloudy, 38. Lots of sunshine Sunday and a high of 35, but we don't have any clouds in the evening hours. There's nothing to hold the heat in, so you can see Sunday with a high of only 35, then 33 with lots of sunshine Monday, lots of sunshine Tuesday, but our afternoon high will be below freezing as we greet December. Friendly reminder, we're losing about 2 minutes of daylight per day, and we'll continue to lose about 2 minutes of daylight per day until we get to the winter solstice, which is on Friday, December 21st. So that's a look at your forecast. Let's take a look at your past report, and things are looking pretty good right now, except for Stevens. Stevens is always a trouble spot this time of year. You know, it's like the red-headed stepchild. I-90's fine, no problems at all. It is raining, but there's no standing water to report. Roadway is bare and wet, no advisories or restrictions. That's a live shot of Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens does have a traction tire advisory. It's a rain-snow mix coming down right now on Stevens. It doesn't look too bad. That's right at the summit of Stevens Pass. As you can see there, that's the east side of the summit. So they have a traction tire advisory on US 2. They got some snow and some slush and ice in places, not all over the place, with a rain-snow mix coming down. Blue, it's fine. Roadway is bare and wet, some frost and ice in places. There is nothing coming down out of the sky. Blewett Pass, pretty quiet weather, all things considered, up in the Cascades. Stevens is expecting an inch, maybe 2 today. That's it of snow. No snow at all in the forecast for I-90 or Blewett. Tonight, Stevens could get another additional inch of snow. That's about it. And then a long dry period starting Thursday all the way through the middle part of next week. There's actually no precipitation at all expected in the mountain passes. So right now, traction tires are advised on Stevens, no advisories or restrictions on Blewett Pass. And if you plan on taking the North Cascades Highway, you won't. That's going to be part of our newscast. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I came here to CVCH because one of my friends referred me. When I met Dr. Jocelyn, she was just amazing. She connected with my son, and it meant so much to me. He opens up so quickly because she just sits there and plays with him. It really is like going to see a friend. It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted and respected. It just feels like home.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
And welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. Overcast, cloudy, 34 degrees, highs in the mid-40s, lots of clouds, some fog, and some light rain. Here are your Wednesday morning headlines. An initial review into the death of Leavenworth native Sergeant Leandro Jasso in Afghanistan indicates that he was likely shot by an Afghan partner force, according to a statement by Resolute Support. Resolute Support is the name for the NATO mission in that country. I'm quoting now. Sergeant Jasso was likely accidentally shot by our Afghan partner force. There are no indications he was shot intentionally, end quote. That's from the statement. Sergeant Jasso's body was returned to this country on Monday. He was a Ranger team leader and was in a gun battle on November 24th with Al-Qaeda militants when he was shot. Interviews with witnesses indicated the accidental shooting happened when the Afghan soldiers became engaged in a close quarter battle during an assault on one of the multiple barricaded Al-Qaeda shooters. That is according to the statement. Well, East Wenatchee City Council members were slated to adopt the city's 2019 budget last night. The spending plan anticipates a 4% increase in sales tax revenue. The budget will include a 1% increase in property taxes, with revenue from that earmarked for the city's street improvement fund. The city expects to start the new year with a fund balance of over $2.8 million carried over from 2018. 2019 will also see the development of the city's new Gateway project at the corner of Valley Mall Parkway and 9th Street. Mayor Steve Lacy describes the project as a multi-use facility that will serve as the main welcoming feature for the city of East Wenatchee.
We've already done the preliminary work below ground, so that's all done. So now it's just a matter of going in and actually constructing the project. It's a natural amphitheater because it goes slopes down toward the river, and so we've taken advantage of that natural amphitheater to make some, I call them steps, for people to be able to sit. There's some seating, natural seating that will go there. So if we have an event that we might incorporate a group or something, small local group or something, then we can put them down there and have people in the area make use of that. But mostly it's just going to be a place for spillover for example, when we have our Wings and Wheels Festival, or better yet, our Class or Chassis. That's an area where there hasn't been a lot of room, but now people can kind of fill in that area. It'll be pavers and cultured concrete and things. But don't lose sight of the fact that the primary purpose of that is an aesthetic kind of a green space to see when you come into the city. There are some practical uses that we've built in, but the practical uses, it wasn't built to be a park per se. It's built to be an entry to the city of East Wenatchee.
The Gateway project scheduled to go out to bid sometime around the first week of December. Construction begins in the spring of 2019. One longtime Wenatchee business has closed its doors, and another plans on closing its doors come January. The Aaron's rent-to-own store in downtown Wenatchee, 225 South Wenatchee Avenue, closed last Wednesday, according to an employee and corporate headquarters. The story was a franchise owned by John Childs, who also owns several such stores in the Vancouver and Portland area. Aaron's Incorporated has just over 1,700 stores, about a third of which are franchisee-owned. The Wenatchee store leased furniture, electronics, and appliances. The ownership will continue, by the way, to collect those payments. And another longtime Wenatchee area store is planning on closing. We're talking about Willie's Hallmark in the Valley North Shopping Center. They say they will close in late January. Two different families have owned the store since it opened in 1966. A 13-year-old driver was arrested and two other juveniles suffered injuries in a high-speed chase in the Quincy area. It happened on Monday night. They reached speeds of over 100 miles an hour. It began about 10:40 on Monday evening when a Quincy police officer saw a car with 5 occupants running stop signs. When an attempt was made to pull the vehicle over, it raced towards George. The officer stopped the pursuit to avoid potential risk to others. Shortly after, a Grant County deputy spotted the vehicle on Beverly Burke Road heading towards Highway 26 and took up the high-speed pursuit. As the vehicle approached a sharp turn, the driver lost control and left the road. 3 of the 5 occupants were treated for minor injuries. 2 were taken to Quincy Valley Medical Center, including the driver, who was released and then arrested shortly thereafter on 2 counts of attempting to elude. Well, heavy snow again over the past few days means, well, it's that time of the year again. State Route 20, the North Cascades Highway, closes for the season at 4 o'clock this afternoon. 4 o'clock this afternoon. The highway closes between milepost 134, that's near Diablo, and milepost 171 near Mazama. It will reopen sometime in the spring. Excuse me. 2 of the 4 giant Liberty Bell Mountain avalanche chutes, they filled up over the weekend. Several of the Cutthroat Ridge chutes also filled with snow, then released that snow down to the shoulder of the highway. With more snow in the forecast, the decision was made to close the highway for everybody's safety. Speaking of closures, hiking season is coming to an end in the foothills off the Horse Lake Road area in Wenatchee. The Chelan County Public Works Department said the Horse Lake Road gate will close early Friday morning. The roadway is closed each and every winter to both protect wintering wildlife and preventing damage to the road itself during freezing and thawing. The gate will reopen on April 1st. It is 14 minutes after the hour, almost 15 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday morning. Don't forget about our Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. Super duper thanks to our friends at Les Schwab. Boy, do they step up to the plate. They're one of the many locations that you can drop off your new unwrapped toy. You're out and about and you're shopping this holiday season. pick up a new unwrapped toy for kids in our area, basically ages, 2, 3, 4 years old enough to enjoy a toy, up to about 14, 15 years old. They have a list of toys that are available on their Facebook page, so if you really don't know what to buy, you can go to the Facebook page and you can see a list of the toys for the individual age groups. That's always a good way to start. If you're simply not sure at all, money works too, because then we actually give it to kids who go out and buy toys that other kids would want. Les Schwab and Wenatchee and East Wenatchee Cashmere Valley Bank branches on both sides of the river. It works on both sides of the river. That's where you can bring all your gifts. Again, they need to be new and they need to be unwrapped. Last year we helped over 700 kids have a good holiday. Our goal this year is 1,000, but we can't do it without you. The Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. You'll go to their Facebook page and all the information that you need is right there. Speaking of Facebook, we have a Facebook page and we have over 12 likes. Maybe more, I'm not sure. Go to our Facebook page because we populate it all day long with the latest news and videos and cool stuff as well. Our Facebook page is also a great way for you to get a hold of us just by private messaging us on our Facebook page. It's always good to hear from you. You can also go to our website at ncwlife.com. If you click on the upper and right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see the Contact Us icon. Fill out the form. Give us a news tip. You have to make that noise, though. You have to go when you do it, or we won't get it. Or you can just pick up the telephone and give us a call. The news with Grant Olson at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Grant with the news and the weather. Eric Granstrom with sports. What happened on this Wednesday? You can find out in one little half-hour package at 5, 6, and 10. 16 minutes after the hour, still overcast and 34 degrees. Going to take a quick break when we come back. Sports, the obscure holiday. Today in history, birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike McNally's opinion and my visit with two of the big head honchos of the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band's Booster Club. All coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Localtel. The Wenatchee High School Band Boosters annual Holiday Craft Bazaar is this Saturday from 9 to 3 in the Wenatchee High School Commons. Come find that perfect gift. Also Saturday is Christmas in Cashmere from 12 to 3 on Cottage Avenue. Enjoy warm beverages, holiday treats, goodie bags, arts and crafts, music, and more. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Back at it, 18 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's do sports. The Wenatchee girls bowling team hosted Sunnyside Tuesday at East Mile Lanes, came away with a 4-0 sweep. No problems there. We heard from Coach Jeff Levitt. Jeff Levitt tells us that the Panthers' total pin count, 1,967. For Sunnyside, 1,221. That's a margin of 746 pins. That's a lot, even for bowling. High scores with the sophomore Kayla Hankins. She rolled a 235. Jessica Holbrook rolled a 192 and a 233. Next up for the Panthers, a non-league match against Ellensburg in Ellensburg on Thursday. The Wenatchee Wild have a rare Wednesday night game tonight at the Town Toyota Center. The Penticton V's are in town. Looking forward to that. This will be the first time the two teams have met this season. Now remember, Penticton were the winners of the Interior Division last year and they won the regular season championship, but then Trail knocked them out of the playoffs in 7 games. Tonight, by the way, is daddy-daughter night. So daughters you get in free as long as your dad pays admission. Not bad at all. It's also $1 hot dog, $1 Pepsi, and $1 beer night through the first intermission. The puck drops at 6:05. Hockey tonight at the Town Toyota Center. By the way, let's take a look at the BCHL standings. They're about halfway through the regular season. There's really not a lot of difference between the top and the bottom of the Interior Division. In fact, first place and 7th place only separated by 11 points. The V's, they lead again, 18-7 with an overtime loss and 2 shootout losses, I should say. Merritt right behind with 38 points. Wenatchee 3rd place with 34 points. The Wild 16-10 with a couple of overtime losses. Wenatchee's sweep of West Kelowna last weekend, by the way, knocked the Warriors into 4th place. Salmon Arm in 5th, Vernon in 6th, and Trails. The push really begins, of course, after the holidays and they get into January and February, and then the playoff push really begins for the BCHL. Speaking of hockey, tomorrow night, hockey night right here on the NCW Live Channel. Boy, if you missed last Friday's game against West Kelowna, you missed a good one. It was a thrilling back-and-forth game, great comeback. You don't want to miss it tomorrow night, 7 o'clock right here on your exclusive home for Wenatchee Wild Hockey on television. That's us, the NCW Live Channel. And the biggest fundraiser of the year, maybe the biggest night of the year all year long, is Pink at the Rink. It's coming up on Friday, December 7th. Friday, December 7th, Penticton will be back in town. Our rivals, it's your chance to add a loved one's name in the ice in recognition of cancer awareness. That begins on Monday, December 3rd. Monday, December 3rd will be your chance to go to the Town Toyota Center between 4 and 5:30. Just show up. The staff, the professionals at the Wenatchee Wild will direct you to what you need to know and what you need to do, and you can decorate the ice pink. Again, Pink at the Rink. The game is on December 7th. The decoration of the ice will be on Monday, December 3rd from 4 to 5:30. To the Les Schwab College basketball scoreboard last night, Dominic Green had 7 3-pointers, scored a career-high 25. David Crisp added 14. Washington beats Eastern Washington 83-59. Huskies improved to 5-2 overall with the win. Freshman C.J. Ellaby scored a season-high 23, grabbed 11 rebounds, 4 assists. The Cougars beat Cal State Northridge, the final 103-94. Oh, let me talk about the baseball. The Mariner coaching overhaul complete. Done deal. The team has announced Monday that Tim Laker has been hired to replace Edgar Martinez as the team's hitting coach. Of course, Martinez asked to be translated or transitioned anyway to a new role. Edgar is now going to be the club's organizational hitting advisor. It's a job I wish I had. Laker comes to Seattle after serving as the Arizona Diamondbacks assistant hitting coach over the last couple of seasons. And the NFL is allowing players to wear special cleats for a cause. This weekend, Seattle's Deion Jordan is wearing his cleats to help Special Olympics, which is an organization he fell in love with last summer.
Personally, I feel like they are the toughest athletes on the planet, to overcome. Everything, that's been stacked against you, to go out there and you make it. My cause is Special Olympics Washington Unified. I had a chance to go this summer here at the University of Washington and watch the flag football team compete. I kept seeing it on the news that they were coming, and I was like, it'd be cool, to go and watch, all the events that they have going on. So after the first day, I just didn't want to leave. I decided to keep coming back and watch and support. The first day I was able to go there and help coach. I was there for three or four days. I went to watch the guys compete. It was just a lot of fun to watch those guys go out there and just put it all on the line to go after their medals. They compete very, 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 very hard, but at the same time they encourage each other, and I think that's the biggest thing about sports. It is about winning and losing, but at the end of the day, you out there with people who worked hard as you have, and even other team, and all you want to do is see everybody succeed and excel. At this level, at the professional level, it's easy to lose why you're doing what you're doing because a lot of things come with it. But when it boils down to it, we all started this game because we love to play the sport. It just reminded me of that.
Good for Deion, that's cool. The program is called My Cause, My Cleats. You can learn more about Jordan's cause by going to the Seahawks website, Seahawks.com. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday morning. Look at that incredible view from Billy Goat on this Wednesday, 23 minutes after the hour. Let's do the obscure holiday. Mars is in the news again because the InSight rover safely made it on Mars, which in and of itself was a remarkable achievement. It's a hard thing to do, and that's perfect timing because today, November 28th, is Red Planet Day, a day to celebrate and learn more about the red planet Mars. It's called the red planet because, of course, it looks red. Why is it on this day? Because in 1964, the Mariner 4, which was a probe, was the first man-made object to actually fly by Mars and take a couple of pictures. And so that's why they picked today. Today, there are 5 spacecrafts that are orbiting Mars, and there are 3 on the actual surface. The Curiosity rover's been there for a while. The Mars Exploration Rover Opportunity has been there for a while, and now on Monday, of course, the InSight is on the planet's surface, and they're all sending all kinds of important data about the red planet back to us. Fun facts about Mars. Of course, I got some for you. Mars has seasons just like Earth, but they last twice as long. Let's see here. Mars, of course, was named after the Roman god of war. It's the second smallest planet in the solar system. Only Mercury is smaller. Mars has 2 moons. It also has the largest mountain. The Olympus Mons is the largest mountain of any planet in our solar system. And of course, because it's, you know, it's kind of close to Earth, a lot of astronomers and scientists believe at some point in history, maybe even now, Mars was hospitable to life. Still don't really know for sure, though, do we? Anyway, happy Red Planet Day. Let's do Today in History, 25 minutes after the hour. Today is the 123rd anniversary of the very first automobile race. It happened on November 28, 1895. They raced from Chicago, Illinois to Evanston, Illinois, a distance of about 54 miles. So today you could cover that in a little less than an hour. In 1895, it took them a little over 10 hours because the average speed in this race was 7 miles an hour. I could have walked there in that kind of time. By the way, Frank Duryea won it. The very first automobile race happened on this date between Chicago and Evanston back in 1895. 76 years ago today, Boston, Massachusetts. The Coconut Grove nightclub, it was a Saturday night, it was hopping. The Coconut Grove was designed to hold about 450 people. There were about 1,000 people in the nightclub that night. The Coconut Grove's motif was tropical, so they had fake plants and fake palm trees. There was a table in the back of the club. Their light bulb above their table went out. A busboy came to change the light bulb. He couldn't see what he was doing. It was dark. He took his lighter out to see what he was doing. The lighter touched a fake palm tree. The palm tree went up in flames. Panic ensued, and 492 people lost their lives. 492 people, and the vast majority of them were crushed to death as they were trying to get out of the exits. Ironically enough, that afternoon, undefeated and #1 ranked Boston College was supposed to beat Holy Cross and claim the national championship, and they had a big celebration planned after the inevitable victory at the Coconut Grove that night, but Boston College lost. Holy Cross beat them 55-12. The party was canceled, and because Boston College lost their football game, it probably saved hundreds of more lives. The famous Coconut Grove nightclub fire happened on this date 76 years ago today. This is the 75th anniversary of the first time the Big Three got together. Marshal Stalin, President Roosevelt, and Prime Minister Winston Churchill got together in Tehran, Iran, to figure out what we're going to do now. We're knee-deep in the war. Stalin had already met Churchill on a number of occasions, but he had never met Roosevelt before. Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin got together. The Big Three met for about 10 days to plot war strategy. The big thing that they got out of that, especially for the Soviets, was both Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt promised Stalin that in the spring of 1944, the Allies would invade occupied France from England to take the onus off the Soviets, who were just getting slaughtered on the Eastern Front, and they in fact did just that. 75 years ago today, the Big Three met for the first time. 44 years ago today. That's a picture of John Lennon on stage with Elton John, Thanksgiving Day, Madison Square Garden, New York City. The story is a very famous one in the world of rock and roll. John Lennon recorded the song Whatever Gets You Through the Night. In 1974, Elton John sang and played piano on John Lennon 45, and when the recording session was over, Elton John said, "John, you just recorded your very first #1. Believe it or not, John Lennon had not had a #1 hit in this country. His other 3 bandmates had. John said, "Nah, it's not going to go to #1. And Elton said, "It's going to go to #1, and if this song, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, makes it to #1, you have to promise to come up on stage with me and play it." The song went to #1, and John Lennon made good on his promise on Thanksgiving Day, 1974, 44 years ago. He went up on stage during the encore and sang 3 songs with Elton John. He sang Whatever Gets You Through the Night, and then Elton and his band with John Lennon sang Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and then they closed with I Saw Her Standing There, a Beatles song written by Paul McCartney. It was John Lennon's last concert appearance. And finally, speaking of music, all of our birthdays today are music related, including the legendary Berry Gordy Jr., the man who founded Motown Records. He is 89 years old today. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1988. Motown Records was the highest earning African American owned business for decades. Berry Gordy Jr. eventually sold Motown Records to outside interests. He's been retired from the music industry for years, but the man who started it all, the great label Motown, Berry Gordy Jr., is 89 years old today. Randy Newman's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's 75 years old today, singer, songwriter, composer, very good piano player. He's received 20 Academy Award nominations, and he's won a couple of them. He's won a bunch of Grammy Awards, 2 albums that you must own, 12 songs, and Sail Away. 12 songs and Sail Away, 2 Andy Newman albums that are brilliant. Andy Newman is 75 years old today. And we'll close out with Paul Schaefer, the Canadian American singer, keyboard player, and of course he was David Letterman's musical director, sidekick, and all-around good guy for the entire run of both Late Night with David Letterman and The Late Show with David Letterman. And he was also in Saturday Night Live's band, in the house band for Saturday Night Live back in the 1970s. Paul Schaefer is 69 years old today. Somebody should probably tell him. It's the bottom of the hour. When we come back, Mike McNaughty has an opinion don't want to miss, and then we'll be talking to our good friends from the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Band Booster Club. Lance Coleman is the president. Janice Sundstrom is the vice president. They will be in the studio in about 6 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
SoundPath Health, they have decided not to re-enroll folks for 2019 year. When you have lost your coverage for the next year, Medicare gives you additional shopping time, December 8th all the way to February 28th. Yes, you can keep shopping, but you won't have coverage. So it'd be probably a pretty good idea to, of course, meet with myself or an independent agent like us and talk about what can you do, and let's get it decided before December 31st, because you'd hate to have January not have a prescription drug coverage.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes. My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
It's a hometown celebration. Christmas in Cashmere, Saturday, December 1st from noon to 3. It's family fun with a kids' craft station, festive music, complimentary warm beverages, and tasty holiday treats. Come enjoy the sights and sounds of the season while awaiting the arrival of Santa Claus. This message brought to you in part by
Cashmere Veterinary Clinic. Natural pet care in everything they do. Downtown Cashmere. Find Dones Valley Pharmacy in the heart of downtown Cashmere. Discover great gifts, and they'll be happy to gift wrap for free.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
NCW Life Channel is proud to present the Spotlight on Business. We're going behind the scenes to bring you the story of local businesses throughout North Central Washington. How did they get started? And why are they so successful? We'll answer these and other questions each week with Spotlight on Business, Sundays through Fridays on the NCW Life Channel.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I was having a conversation the other day with someone about race issues. And this person that was telling me that as me being part of the dominant culture, I couldn't understand what it was like to be discriminated against. Well, I agree. I personally can't claim to ever been a victim of this discrimination. My parents, even though they were white people, they certainly could. As a child, my mother was a German enemy alien during World War II, growing up in a Russian neighborhood in Singac, New Jersey. And my father, in the Newark area, he was the son of an alcoholic Italian immigrant in the days when political correctness didn't exist. Now, I'm not saying this is the same as what other minority races have experienced in this country over the years, but discrimination is not an issue only based on race. It's not. So this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Rosemary. I've been at this job for a whole week and I haven't got a promotion yet.
You should have someone around to help you think things through.
Maybe I should.
I'm always available.
Oh, you're sure great. I hope I can show my appreciation.
Lunch!
Huh?
I said lunch.
What about lunch?
I'd love to.
Love to what?
You said, what about lunch? Gee, I thought you'd never ask.
I didn't mean what about lunch. I meant what about lunch?
Or dinner and a show.
What show?
Wenatchee High School's How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Buy your tickets today.
It's a hometown celebration. Christmas in Cashmere, Saturday, December 1st from noon to 3. It's family fun with a kids' craft station, festive music, complimentary warm beverages, and tasty holiday treats. Come enjoy the sights and sounds of the season while awaiting the arrival of Santa Claus. This message brought to you in part by
Discover Eplidolin Assisted Living, affordable care in a home-like atmosphere with no long-term contracts. Enjoy a healthy meal on the deck at Leavenworth Walkabout Grill.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Localtel. Village Voices Christmas in the Mountains concert is this Friday at 7:30 p.m. at the Leavenworth Church of the Nazarene. Tickets are available at the Leavenworth Chamber of Commerce. This Saturday is Christmas Family Fun Day at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center from 10 to 4. There will be refreshments, crafts, photos with Santa, and more. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa wants you to shop at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. They have a huge variety of fun Christmas items in their Christmas cottage. There's so much to choose from, and it changes day to day. Santas and snowmen, holiday dishes and decor, village pieces and ornaments. To add to your collection or start something new, you can't beat the prices. What's old is new again for you in the Christmas cottage at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center.
And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. It was another banner year for one of the crown jewels of the Wenatchee school system in Wenatchee High School proper. I'm talking about Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band, which just has been going wonderful, wonderful work for many, many years now. And their comp season, their fall comp season is over, and their big fundraiser of the year, the Holiday Gift and Craft Bazaar, is this Saturday on the campus at Wenatchee High School. And joining me to talk all things band, to my immediate left is the president of this year's Booster Club. You know this guy, he's been on the show before, Lance Coleman. And my far left is the vice president, soon to be president, Janice Sundstrom is joining us. Welcome to the program again.
Thank you.
Janice, you're a first timer, so all first timers get the same question. A little bit about Janice. Tell us about yourself.
This is my 5th year in the band. I have twins that graduated last year, and I have a freshman this year that plays trumpet, and an 8th grader at Pioneer that will be coming in next year.
Who actually played with the band this year?
Yes.
Kind of got
she
a head
was
start.
a fill-in this year for comp season, yes.
Yeah. Well, and I'll ask you this, Lance, right off the top. Oh, before I forget, Lance, you're the president. Did you bring the check for the show?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a
yes.
nonprofit, so it's only $300 for the show.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
So you know what? I'll just send you an invoice.
Well, we brought 4. So.
Yeah. Do all the parents who have kids in the Golden Apple Marching Band, are they pretty much by default end up on the Booster Club? I mean, is it a hard sell? Hey, your kid's in the band, so join our organization.
Quite a few, but not all. Yeah, most of the time we have a pretty good turnout of parents. And it works out because not everybody can do all of the events, but most can do some. So we always have plenty to help with the comp season and different fundraisers and stuff like that. So yeah, we have quite a few parents that help out.
As the president of the Booster Club, I'm assuming you're also the head recruiter by default.
Yes, kind of, sort of, but we do have a committee for that, which helps me out a lot. I have to, and Janice, we have to wear so many hats that it helps to have different people run different segments, and it helps out a lot. So we don't have to do it all, per se.
Did you personally recruit Janice to be on the?
Yes.
Yeah. What was his pitch? What did he say, Janice, to get you on board?
He just nominated me. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, under the understanding that I wouldn't leave for a couple more years.
Yes,
so
yes.
she didn't want to get
I'm under his
thrown
training.
right into the fire. But
And you have kids in the band, and kids who have gone through the band, have graduated, and moved on, and it's still, I think, one or two is still in the organization?
two, I still have two in the high school band, yes.
Okay. Do they all play different instruments, or they all play the same?
My oldest and my youngest played the alto saxophone. My middle son plays the trumpet. So only two different instruments.
Which
So-
isn't too bad, especially
No.
when they rehearse at night, right?
Yes, yes, that's
They're
right.
supposed to.
So, yeah, it's kind of nice to not have them all the same, but
Yeah, that's important. And your kids play what instruments?
I have a trombone player and a trumpet player.
Okay.
And then my son, my oldest son that graduated, is in the big band, and he plays trumpet. He's in
Okay.
the Wenatchee Big Band this year.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good, good. Great year for Jim Kovac and his crew. You won a bunch of awards again. The footage that we're going to show, this is from Homecoming, and this is, they just wrapped up what they call the comp season. For the uninitiated who don't understand the fall competition season, Lance, give it to us in a nutshell. What exactly does that mean?
comp season is we have 5 different schools that we go to, or comps that we go to, and that is cavalcade of bands, Tumwater, Yakima, Sumner, and our final one is in Auburn.
And the Auburn one is the traditional Veterans Day weekend.
That's correct.
That's basically the equivalent of, I don't want to say the state championship of bands, but it kind of is, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
it's the most prestigious one.
Yes,
So.
and it was a great year this year for the graduating seniors because they did very well, both in the parade and in the comp. The Auburn one is a little different than the standard comps. They march in a parade and get graded on that, and then they compete on the field that evening, and they're graded on that, and then they combine the scores to come up with a total. And
How do we do?
we took second place in the parade in our division, and we took second in the field show in our division, which then put us, we had enough points that they took sweepstakes. They took it all. So that was pretty nice for the seniors, the graduating kids, and
That's great news.
They had a great time.
This is an incredible show that they put on. They started working on this probably mid-August, I'm guessing. Is that about right, when they start
Yes.
working on
Yes.
on this deal? Think of the discipline that it takes to do what they're doing right now, walking forwards and backwards and sideways, the whole time playing an instrument
Yes.
and playing it well. It shows incredible dedication and incredible discipline. And that's the first thing when I think about the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band. This is one disciplined group of kids, isn't it?
Yes, they are, and hardworking, and of course, Mr. Kovac, he instills a lot of discipline in them. They have to be there on time, dressed appropriately with everything that they need, and sometimes if they're not, they don't perform. So it teaches them a lot of responsibility.
But he also likes to reflect on the students, because I've asked Jim to be on this show any number of times, Janice, and he always sends the drum major.
Yes,
He sends Olivia, or he sent Olivia this year, or the senior and junior drum majors last year. He doesn't want to. It's not about him. It's about the kids and the job that they do.
That's right.
And that's one of the things I love about Jim. Olivia did a great job this year, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She did great.
And the kids pay attention to her too. That's the one thing I noticed. I mean, once they start taking the field, Jim sits in the corner and watches, and Olivia takes charge, and the kids do what she tells them to do.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, so it was a great competition here. Good job for everybody.
Yeah, it was pretty fun this year. We had a great group of parents and stuff, and a lot of parents stepped up, and like there's so much involved in the background, like driving the truck and trailer, getting all the uniforms to the comp, and we had a great group of people help out, and
then there's the unforeseen challenges, like there was one game this year where you had to play in the rain, and you weren't going to leave. Or when they do competition on weekends, they'll stay through halftime, then they leave so they can get rest, and because they have to get up at dark 30 and drive to who knows where to compete. And I can't remember what game it was. You were supposed to stay for the whole game, but it rained, and so everybody had to leave because the instruments had to dry out.
Yes, yeah.
Those unforeseen things.
Well, all the instruments and especially the uniforms.
Yes.
You want those uniforms to dry out because, you're dealing with high school kids, and And sometimes they don't smell the greatest. And
you talk about the uniforms of the kids, Lance.
Well, both.
Okay.
On the buses and stuff, you know, it gets cramped for them a little bit. But yeah, you definitely want them to be rested and have their uniform dried out and equipment ready to go. So it gets a little exciting sometimes, especially when they play at a football game and they're up till 10:30, and then they got to turn right back around and be up at 4 o'clock the next morning to leave at 5. So it gets pretty hectic sometimes.
What's that? You saw the motion that the kids were doing during their field performance at the homecoming that we just showed. What's the hardest instrument to play for that? And I'll ask you, Janice, what's the hardest instrument to play for that discipline? Not the marching band down the street kind of thing, but the actual field competition, the field show that they do. What's the hardest instrument to play and still be where you're supposed to be at any given part in the score?
I would think the drums, the percussion, just because it's such a big instrument, hard to see over, hard to move around, heavy.
You have to be in good shape.
Yes, or the tuba, sousaphone.
Yeah, I was going to
also.
say drums and the sousaphone.
Yes, I would think so. With
And
all
I
the
guess-
been
Yeah, and I guess the easiest would be like, you know, the piccolo.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
I can zip all over the place. I'm going to ask you a question you might not know the answer to. Can you venture to guess the total number of hours that each of these kids put in between August and the end of the Veterans Day weekend for the final parade that they did here in town? I mean, just a ballpark figure. It's a lot.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I've never really.
Not only the practices, but
figure
they
it
have
out, right.
sectionals.
Yes,
So
during
they
the
do
day.
a lot of sectionals too.
And they do a lot of stuff that we don't see sometimes during class and out on the field during school. So there's a lot of hours involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it all pays off in the end, doesn't it?
Yes,
So-
it does.
What did you know before you won the sweepstakes, which was the overall best band in Auburn on a Veterans Day weekend? Did you know before they made the announcements that did somebody sit there with a calculator and said, "I think we won," or was it a surprise announcement?
I think it was a surprise. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, I know my wife is pretty good about
Crunching
keeping
the numbers.
track, kind of crunching the numbers. But I think in the Auburn one, it was a nail biter, and I think it was a surprise to them. So a nice surprise. So we knew that they had placed fairly well, but we didn't know if they were going to take sweepstakes or not. So it was a nice surprise.
It comes springtime, of course, then it's just parade time. It's marching up and down, which my guess is considerably easier. I'm guessing here. I mean, it's got to be easier than what we just saw.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's much easier. And the kids, this is the time now that the real disciplined part of band season is over. The kids kind of sit back and relax a little bit. And you got basketball season coming up and all that, and they enjoy playing at basketball games because it's so relaxed and they can get a little bit wild.
Yeah.
And then turn back around and they start getting back in that discipline mode a little bit for marching season, and but it's still not as demanding as comp season.
Yeah.
So.
Although we have Disneyland this year. So.
Yeah, you're going to
Yes.
Disneyland, aren't
Yes.
you?
Yes.
How did you swing that?
Every 4 years.
That's right, every 4 years. So if you're in band from freshman through senior at one time in your band career at Wenatchee High School, provided you stick with it, you're going to be going to Disneyland.
Yes, you should have a chance to get to Disneyland,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fun for the kids. It's a little more work for the parents, you know, with all the logistics and getting stuff there. But the kids have it easy because all they do is get the plane tickets are all set up for them. They fly there, and all the equipment is there by that time because of the parents. And then they get dressed and march in the parade down Disneyland, Main Street Disneyland, and they just have a good time.
And then after that, they get to goof off.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah,
they've
they
earned-
get
when's-
Somewhat.
yeah. When's this year's Disneyland trip? When is it? Is this spring break? Or?
Spring break, yes.
Spring break, okay. So that's always, I mean, that's got to be an impetus right there on those hard days when you get back from, say, sectionals and you're just tired, you still got homework to do, but you can think, you know what? If I stick with this, I'm going to have a chance to go to Disneyland next year or the year after that.
Yes.
So
Yep.
You keep bringing up parents, and I know a lot of them are involved with your booster club, and some of them aren't. But if the parents aren't totally vested in their kids' musical education, this band is not nearly as good as they are. And who's kidding who? They're
That's
good.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like any organization, though. We do have some parents that, you know, they, because of work or whatever, they can't be involved as much as they want to be. But they do, a lot of them do other things, just like the Craft Bazaar coming up. They help out, you know, after work or whatever in that capacity. We have a spaghetti dinner fundraiser coming up January 5th at 5 p.m. at the Wenatchee High School. And we've had a lot of moms and parents step up to help out with that dinner and fundraiser. So if they can't make it to all the comps and stuff like that and help out in that, they do help out in other ways, which is really nice. So hats off to all the parents.
Kudos to that.
Yes.
Do the kids, the members of the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band, they understand the tradition of this band being good and winning awards every year? Do they feel the pressure? I mean, I know they're just high school kids, but do they feel like they need to keep the tradition alive? Candace, I'll ask you first.
I would think so. I would think it would be passed on. The seniors, you know, try to instill that on the younger kids. We had a lot of freshmen this year come in, about 50
right,
kids.
about 50 freshmen.
How do you account for that? Why so many freshmen turn out this year, Janice?
It just seems to get bigger every year, the classes. And I'm not sure that we have 22 seniors going out this year, and we had 50 freshmen come in. So
that's a nice problem to have, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we did have a problem with the amount of uniforms that we had and stuff in different sizes. We did have to spend quite a bit of money on getting some new uniforms. And like you said, there's a whole size difference in some of those kids. We have really tall ones, really short ones, and it big commitment as far as the.
Sure.
And Janice is in charge of the
uniforms. Yes,
okay, so you do the alterations. Do you have like a commercial sewing machine at your house, or how does that work?
No, I hand sew most of them.
Oh wow! Now that's dedication.
Yes, I know.
And then my
I
guess
do need
is,
some help.
my guess is there's probably a kid or two in the band whose uniform fit great in September and doesn't fit so well in April.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah, kids grow.
Yes, they do.
So yeah, that's.
We also have a big color guard this year. The biggest color guard we've had.
Yes, we want to talk about the color guard a little bit too.
Well, please do. Yeah, go ahead.
James, I'll let you
talk
about that a little bit. Well, man, we've had some phenomenal girls this year, and we had nine color guard girls, and we usually have 3 or 4 maybe. So we've had to come up with, of course, new uniforms for that many girls, and just tried to build the color guard up, and it helps us out so much. And we had a great group of girls. We had 2 moms that really came through for us and did a great job, and so it really, the color guard did a great job this year.
Well, kudos to them. Well, kudos to everybody who made, and it was a great show. It was a very, the show that you did this fall was really cool. And the thing I pointed out, and I noticed this a lot, was people don't leave at halftime. They stay and they watch the show. And that right there is tribute to the band. They don't go and get a pizza and go to the restroom and grab a hot dog and wait for the second half. They stay in their seats and they watch the band perform.
Yes.
And that's got to make you feel good.
Oh yeah, it was pretty neat this year. So.
One more question before we started talking about the Holiday Craft Bazaar, because this popped in my head. You're a kid, you're making the transition from middle school to high school. You're good at your instrument and you want to be in the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band. As long as you meet the criteria, you're pretty much in, right? And then it's up to you folks to, okay, Johnny needs a uniform, that kind of stuff. I mean, is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think
if you
no
qualify
one's
for the
turned
band,
down.
nobody gets turned away.
No.
So, and how does that work? Do you try out for gym in private, or how does that? How do you?
You just show up to class and you're in pretty much,
Wow.
as long as you behave.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Stick with it.
Yeah, because well, and Jim makes sure that the seniors, juniors and seniors, section leaders, the section leaders basically bring those kids up to speed. Jim just lays out the music, and and it's really, he kind of lays down the law to the section leaders to say, hey, get these freshmen, new kids coming in up to speed, and so it helps out having a big group of kids, and the section leaders really work hard to make sure their section is performing as Jim would
Accountability.
like. Yes.
Accountability. And,
Yes.
and the kids like Jim. I've seen Jim interact with them. They
yes.
love him. So he's
Yeah.
a likable guy. Let's talk about Saturday. It's a big day for you guys. What's happening?
Oh, it's huge. Start out Saturday morning at 0500, and the kids are there to help the vendors come in, get unloaded, bring all their stuff in, and it's just it's a big day, and a lot of fun. The kids enjoy it, you know. You get to meet a lot of nice people, and so. But the bazaar is December 1st, Saturday, runs from 9 to 3 o'clock, and of course I think, you know, we get people showing up at 8:30, 8:45 or whatever, which is fine. And they just come in, and it's a warm, you know, the high school commons and part of the hallways and stuff. It's warm, inviting, and it's a great event.
A lot of organizations, nonprofits, do these holiday gift and craft bazaars, but what makes this one different, Janice? Why is this one special? What sets it apart from the other ones?
Everything has to be homemade, handmade. We don't have anything that is not homemade in the craft bazaar.
So I can't go down to Hooked on Toys and buy a Battleship for $20 and then mark it up to $25 and sell it there.
No.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
So this is unique
Unless
stuff.
you make it.
Yes. Yeah, unless you make it.
Yeah. So you're going to find things at the Wenatchee High School Commons that you're not going to find anywhere for that person, and everybody gets one on their list every year. What am I going to get this person? You might be able to find 2 or 3 things that you didn't really anticipate when you go there, right?
Yes.
That's right.
And all the proceeds go to the band also, 100%.
And how does that work? How do you guys get a cut of it? You just running out booth space to the vendors? Or how does that
Yes, and we hold a raffle also. I'm in charge of the raffle, and whatever money is made on the raffle goes all to the band also.
work? What's the prize this year?
Lots of stuff.
Lots of
There's
stuff.
a lot of prizes to bid on.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this plan, I've been there. I've gone in a couple of years. In fact, I got my Wenatchee High School blanket there a couple of years ago. It's big. This is a big event. There's a lot of people who come and go.
Yes, it has gotten bigger the last few years, and I think people like it because there's so many vendors there. There's quite a few, and there's always something unique that they, like you said, get for Christmas and this and that, and it's a lot of fun. So it is busy.
Yeah. My guess is there's a family heirloom waiting for you at the Wenatchee High School Commons on Saturday for the Holiday Gift Bazaar. What number of this is it? I've 10, 12? I'm trying to remember.
I want to say 15 or 16.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
So don't you like it when somebody starts something and it works and it keeps going and now it has a life of its own?
Yes.
Yes.
So comp season's over. We've got about 2 minutes left. For the Gold Apple Marching Band for the rest of this year, what's on the schedule? Now you said got a little dead period, a little relaxing time for the winter.
Yes. Now it's just basketball games, getting ready for the spring trip, which is Disneyland, and then marching in the Apple Blossom Parade.
And you do a couple of parades as well.
We do.
Yeah.
We do the Manson parade. We did last year.
Yes, that was the first year, I believe, for in a long time.
Yeah, for quite a few years. This is the first time we did it last year, and I think he's planning on doing it again this year. Don't quote me on that, but as of right now, I think Jim's planning on going back.
And of course, this year's Washington State Apple Blossom Festival is the centennial, the 100th
That's right.
Yeah, it's
Washington
gonna be-
State Apple Blossom Festival, and the Stimul Growers Grand Parade, and the Golden Apple Band has been to every last one of them that there's been a band. So anything special planned for the centennial that you know of? Or
You know, Jim kind of keeps that secretive. He lets us know right at the last minute. So as of right now, we do not know.
Okay.
He'll surprise us, I'm sure, with something, but we'll see.
When the kids, and I've talked to some of the senior members of the band, and when they crest Rondo and they head down towards the park on a beautiful spring day and they see thousands and thousands and thousands of people, they go, wow. This is cool.
Yes.
It is cool.
Oh, yeah.
The Holiday Craft Gift Bazaar is at the Wenatchee High School Commons. It's pretty much all day, 9 o'clock to 3 on Saturday.
Yes.
Right? Show up there with your checkbook and your cash and get ready to get some really cool gifts. I'm looking
Yes,
forward to it.
there's going to be quite a few vendors.
You know what? What I'm going to do, I'm going to waive the $300 fee for being on my show, Lance.
Will ya?
Because I'm an alumnus of Wenatchee High School and I love the band, so no
Oh,
charge.
fantastic.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dan.
Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.